Hello! Welcome back to another 1830 video reflection. We have made it through week 3, we're almost there. But where is there? That is the question. And the weather's taken a bit of a turn this week. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit more cooped up. Had to move a bit of my exercise inside, which means HIIT workouts. And I hate them. So yeah, all the motivation is needed over here. And of course, COVID-19 is going on still everywhere, and it doesn't seem to be showing any signs of going away. And it's dominating a lot of our conversations. It's producing a lot of uncertainty. But one of the really positive things I feel is coming out of this time is that God is just moving and speaking all over the world. And there's prophetic words and encouragements and pictures just coming in on Facebook groups and Zoom calls. Lou from our staff team was actually up at 4:30 in the morning this week to log into a Zoom call. I think it's from America, and hear what's happening over there. So it's really exciting. And in one of our staff meetings this week, I had a picture that I wanted to share with you. And the picture was of an eagle that came down and took a man in a suit and picked him up by almost the scruff of his jacket and took him up, 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 up. And the man was like kicking against it and screaming and not wanting to go. And the eagle just kept on flying. And eventually the man just like gave in and stopped kicking and actually just like looked around him. And the eagle was taking the man just like over the seas and just giving him perspective. And he was able to just look down at everything. And I felt God say that I am the eagle and you, all of you, are like the man. And I've taken you out of a place you were before and you were reluctant to go. But actually now I'm giving you this greater perspective and I'm showing you what I see and what I'm doing. And I felt that it wasn't yet time for the eagle to take the man to this new place that he was going to go. And that God was just inviting us to trust him in this time where we are not where we were and we're not yet where we're going to be. We're just in this in-between. But there's a real invitation. And I think the invitation, as hard as it sounds, is to surrender. To surrender, it might be our control, it might be our security, maybe our finances or our future plans, but that God is wanting us to lay those things down and to see what he's going to do with them. And so, whilst in this time we are physically still, we're confined within our homes. It might be that things change slightly this week, but we're still going to have a relative level of needing to stay put. I feel like our faith doesn't need to stay still. In fact, anything but. And a number of you have said so far in the 1830 CoLab survey that you would like to talk more about discipleship and growth and how we can become more like Jesus and do the things that he did. And so tonight I'm going to be launching a new mini-series called Becoming. And we're going to be thinking about how we can become more like Jesus in character and action. And so tonight I want to kick off the series by thinking about what it means to become and how we can become people of faith. So when I was younger, whenever I did something wrong or kind of naughty or made a bit of a rude comment, my dad would say, "That doesn't become you, Emma." And what he meant was, actually, that's not who you were made to be. That's not the character that we're trying to develop in you. And when you say or do things like that, you're becoming someone that isn't who you actually are. So there's a lot of different definitions of the word become, but two of them are to begin to be and to grow to be. And when we're born, we physically begin to be, and then throughout the rest of our lives, we grow to be, we become the people we are now. But how often do we actually stop to think, not just about what we're becoming, but who we're becoming? I think there's a lot of emphasis in society on what job we get or what car we drive or what we're doing in life at the moment, what we're producing and achieving. But actually, we don't take a lot of time often to think about who we're becoming within that. And we're told that we become like the 5 people we spend most of our time with. Think of the 5 people that you spend your most time with. Are they people you want to become more like? Is Jesus one of them? And in the same way that we're physically born and grow, I think we're also spiritually born. When we become a Christian, we're told in 2 Corinthians that the old is gone, the new has come, and we are a new creation. But then also we grow to be, we mature as Christians. Paul talks about us going from needing spiritual milk to solid food. And in Hebrews, we're told we have to run the race with perseverance. And so there's this process of transformation that happens once we become a Christian. So being a Christian then means to have become and be becoming. It's like the now and the not yet. And so I kind of want to break this concept of becoming up into 2 chunks: be and come. And I think to become more like Jesus is to be more like him and to come with him. And we see that throughout the Gospels. Jesus teaches the disciples to do the things that he did, to practice what he practiced. And then he consistently calls people and asks them to come and follow him. And both of those things require faith. Do we trust that actually we want to become more like Jesus, that we can be more like him and do the things that he did? And do we want to go where he calls us to go? In Hebrews 11, verse 1, it says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." And Brendan Blade did a fantastic talk a couple of weeks ago now in the morning service called Seeing the Unseen, and it's online. I really recommend listening to the podcast. And one of the things he said about this passage was that we often think that faith is hoping, like, oh, I hope that will happen. But actually, it says here that faith is confidence in what we hope for. So it's not just blind hope, it's saying, I believe this is going to happen because Jesus has said it's going to happen, and standing on the promises of God. And Hebrews goes on to talk about, it's like a roll call of people that were faithful. And it says, by faith, this person did this. So by faith, Noah built the ark. By faith, Abraham went to sacrifice his first son, Isaac. By faith, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. And it goes on to talk about all of these people who God asked to do something, and they trusted God and put that trust into action. Their faith required some sort of movement, some sort of trust. And so if that is the measure of faith, if faith actually requires action, and like James says, faith without action is dead, where would we say our faith is at the moment? Is your faith more alive, or does it feel more dead? And how much do you feel at the moment like you're putting yourself in positions where you need God to show up? Because actually, if he doesn't, you're going to look really stupid, or you're going to fall flat on your face. I know that I definitely am not doing that enough. It's very easy to get comfortable, particularly with where we live in New Zealand, with all the things that we have around us, it can almost be more hard sometimes to put ourselves in positions where we're like, God, I am placing my trust in you, and I am going to look like a fool if you don't show up. We're told in the Bible that Jesus is one who has authority, that he knows who he is and he acts out of that place. And he teaches us to also take that authority and to live our lives out of a place of trusting in him, trusting that when we put ourselves out there, he's going to show up. And so to end this evening, I want to leave us with a couple of reflective questions about how we can be more like Jesus and come with him. So the first one is, where might Jesus be inviting you to be more like him at the moment? And the second is, what might you need to let go of in order to come with him in faith? I know for me, I really need to let go of making plans for the future. I love planning ahead and knowing where I'm going to be, making travel plans. And at the moment, I just really feel God is asking me to lay that down and to try and live more in the moment, live on a day-to-day basis, which I find really difficult. But also, I'm starting to find it freeing at the same time. So over the course of the next few weeks, we're going to be thinking about how we become more like Jesus in those different characteristics. And we're going to have some different people come and share each week. And I just want to encourage you to close that this isn't about striving and, each week I've got to try and become more like Jesus. It is an invitation to literally be like him and come with him. Jesus is always invitational. And I want to leave us with a Chinese proverb that says, do not be afraid of growing slowly. Only be afraid of standing still. Have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday.